been lucky enough in my career to get to work in a whole bunch of industries, from healthcare to tech to consumer to practitioner channels to D2C. And a lot of the success ingredients are the same. And if you follow the success formula of other companies, you're often going to get similar results. So the number one thing that has to happen to scale is there has to be a great customer product fit for both the initial sale and repeat buyers. One of the top key performance indicators, KPIs, is the lifetime value of a customer. So if you don't have high recurring revenue, if your customers don't just buy once for most products, and to have a product, an anchor core product, you've got to have that right product, price, customer fit. And some companies really have to fine tune that a bit, and that they're going to buy over and over again, a hero product. Secondly, in the supplement business and also in the food and beverage business, we're also fortunate a lot of these businesses are higher margin. High gross margin means room to screw up and make mistakes. The margins also allow you to go into multiple channels of distribution. So when I find early startups and they're planning on growing and being really large with a very low gross margin business, especially if that's long term, it's okay if at initial scale you might have to have a lower margin, and then as you can scale up and buy in volume, you can add to that. Most of the companies that are the most successful start with high margin businesses, high margin products, and a high margin mindset, because marketing is more expensive than ever. Customer acquisition is more expensive than ever. And you want to also afford the best team possible so you can be not just a growth leader, you can have a growth team. Obviously, you've got to have strong marketing and sales strategies and focus more than ever on your customer acquisition cost. And you hear a lot about this. People talk about customer acquisition costs, and I've watched just over the last 7-8 years, has different social media platforms become more successful, the cost is shot up astronomically. And then huge multinational companies are coming in and buying content and ad space on the social sites just for presence. They're not trying to capture a customer. And the masters I've seen being impactful growth leaders that scale, the CAC is a blend of paid and unpaid. There's often something called circular virality, where if you're on multiple things, it starts to get unconsciously in the customer's mind and starts to reduce what you're ultimately paying to capture that customer. And then the masterful part is keeping them and increasing your customer lifetime value. Every single successful growth leader I've seen, again, is customer obsessed. And then, of course, you're going to need to scale. You're going to need the key team leaders in place. Certainly the key areas where people look at are sales, marketing, D2C is, I know, an incredibly important position for most companies, operations now, and now finance is becoming more important as you go into cash flows. The last thing I see is that most impactful growth companies scale by focusing on crushing it first in one channel. If your first rollout channel is to go to, Whole Foods market and get on some key shelf space, really focus on that primarily. Really put most of your effort into crushing it first in one channel. And then a lot of companies, once they get up to 8 to 10 million, then they lean more effort into a second channel. By the time you're 30 million, you really want to go multi-channel and also international if you haven't already.